Sorry. Yeah, it's fine. No, like I was in one of those. I was coming up on an intersection, and the turn lane is so backed up. It's backing into the actual road or into the through lane, and people are bad. So Ken,
How's it
what are you
tend to
hunting
be?
monster? He already abandoned me. Oh, I was asking when you're going to hunt monsters. It's 5 day.
I said it just earlier, what I'm hoping we get from JP.
Yeah,
Like, there's one thing I just want them to do. That's literally Mr. 2. Hey, here is Mr. 3. That's all I need.
Han's on. It's on two.
And hopefully it gets a long, big rest. Also, Grimmick had this on stream.
Oh, not.
I'll move him.
Ah. I...
では、前に出ます。
Hello, guys. How's it going? Easier, I know. Head down to my toes. You're looking at me. It's just a shame, that's all. Hello, guys. Last minute rating, I see. So let me get some stuff closed on my phone. And we should be getting good to go. I did just get the go live tweet out. Do me a favor, chat, give it some love. I'm hoping I don't get in trouble copyright wise for this. Again, I've decided we'll go ahead and stream it because it feels weird. I've streamed every other event that FGO has ever done, even while it has been relevant, and I've never really had issues. But again, I also don't show story. I'm not going to show cutscenes, so you guys don't have to worry about that. It will literally just be the final fight when we go to do it. Sorry, chat. Just 1 second. I'm waiting on a particular text message here. I don't remember if the credits are skippable. Yeah, I mean, if you guys can, just advise me on when to pull the plug so that people don't, obviously, so that it doesn't show up on stream, right? Yep, we're gonna get some news finally, I hope, tomorrow. Okay. Sorry, just a last second text there that I needed an answer on. Let me get this plugged in, and we should be good to go. I am live on all 4 platforms. Should have saved this song for during the fight. Indeed. Hello everybody. How's it going? So, as some of you guys that were early here to stream heard me say, we're going to be attempting JP here. I'm going to start out on an A. We're going to kind of get AP spent down. I don't really have storm pods at the moment, so we're just going to go ahead and do 3 runs of the lotto, because I don't really have anything else I need to spend AP on for the moment. What was my lotto sport? It was Oberon. My night's going pretty good. How about yours, chat? How's everybody doing? Anybody got any fun plans for New Year's? Yeah, that'll work. Hello, Mariah. Finally remember to switch off the shell node for storm pods. I was testing some of them, and I ended up going back to the shell node just because I didn't have time to like come up with a comp this morning. Because I tried to run, I think it was the seed node. I think that's the one. Or no, wait, was it seed? No, I think it's the lamp node in India. And like, oh my god, the heck with that node. That node just sucks. So I ended up punting off of that for now. Which episode of Doctor Who am I on? I'm still on like again, I was just watching it with the girlfriend, and literally which actually she is in chat tonight, chat. But quite literally, I think we only got through like episode 5. I think it's like episode 6 is the next one that we have to watch, which I haven't gotten to watch since last stream. But I think that's the first showcase of the Daleks. So we'll see. Been playing Samurai Remnant, just unlocked Arjuna. Nice. At some point, I still want to go back and like finish Samurai Remnant's like extra stuff that I didn't get to do. Rank up and interludes are half off for NA right now. Okay, that might be worth. She's in chat? Yes, she is. She said something at the beginning of stream, whether or not chat realized it or not. I don't know what you mean by Tiamat made the node easy. She probably would. I just didn't like sit down and think about it too much, and I would just like tried to cobble together like some writer solution for it, and went like, "Oh crap, this sucks." Which doctor were you watching? We're watching Eccleston, so I think it's 9. I also did a little bit of watching at work today, chat. I got to it was a pretty chill day. Like I had work I had to do, but I didn't have like very strenuous work. So I was able to like kind of multitask there and get to watch stuff. So I started watching Peacemaker, and honestly, Peacemaker's been really good so far. I've been really surprised by that. The first episode is a little jarring, but once you get used to it, it's like, okay, this is pretty nice. Also, I like how I literally just went right back in. Can we do our annual chop ping now? I mean, you can if you want. You don't have to, though. Wait, Samurai Remnant has a manga? I think they started, yeah. What's up, artist? Hello, Hax. When do you usually do the banner reviews for the year? I usually do it like after the start of the year. I won't have the time anyways, so just again, full disclosure, chat. I'm streaming today, and then literally New Year's Eve I'll be off because I'm spending that with a girlfriend, and then New Year's Day until the end of the weekend we are going on a trip. So literally I'm not going to get to stream again until next Monday, so it'll be like the 5th will be the next time you guys see me after this, which means I won't be here immediately for the revelation of the JP news. I will still be paying attention to it on the side. I'm still going to be very curious as to kind of what gets announced and what happens on the JP side of things. As you guys know, it's 10 years in the making. We've been kind of waiting for this for a long time. So I'm definitely going to be very, very curious and want to see how JP handles stuff. And I will try to keep my eye on it as best I can. I need all the hero meta the last node can give me. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm just here for the dice, the D20s. All right, so let's double check this just because chat said that strengthenings and interludes are half cost. I think I have all of them done on NA, but I do want to double check. Okay, except Dante's. Dante's, I don't care about that one. That one can wait. Rank up for Hiji. Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? Go in with just the easy comp. Cad, what group for the GSSR am I rolling for? Oh, me. Well, shit. Don't ask me that question. I don't know off the top of my head. And this is why when I was recording the video for that. Oh shit! I forgot to post the video. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to do that tomorrow. That's my bad because Okeus did get it already. I just like legitimately forgot to actually do it. I've fallen out of the habit, and that is part of the problem there. But like it is why I said during the recording for that like some people have to consider, you know, what gives the best chance of success and like is the least odds of like getting a USO. That is frequently how my GSSRs go. So it just is what it is. I'm gonna have to like sit there and just like record all of my NP5s and be like, okay, what works here? Like how do I avoid getting something that I already have? Phase Strange Fake will release next month. Yeah, I'm excited for that too. I like At least I assume it's going to start with the initial episode and stuff that we've already seen. So it may be a bit before it fully gets swinging for us. But I am still optimistic. I'm still really like hopeful that Strange Fake is actually really good for Fate. I think Fate needs a win. I think it's been a hot second since we've had a like non-FGO related anime. And if it's good, that'll be even better. Time for the summoning spreadsheet? No. Cat abandoning 2D waifus for his 3D waifu. Yes. Yes, I'm not even going to deny that. I mean, and again, chat, I would only ask that you guys understand on that sort of thing. Oh, at least I got spirit roots. Do you recommend chasing NP levels? I recommend if you're going to chase an NP level, that you do so in a category that is already good for you. Like, so that if you don't get the unit that you want, that you still get somebody that's really, really nice. Like, there's a couple of the categories that I pointed out during the video that's like, hey, these categories are really solid and you kind of can't go wrong with them. That would be where I'd say, like, hey, yeah, if you're chasing an additional MP level, it makes sense. Because then you'll just probably be happy with no matter what you get. Oh, wow, I just realized I ate all that fudge. I didn't even think about that. I think I just ate like 8 pieces of fudge without even thinking. I'll read the novel before reading the anime. That's a good idea, actually. Currently coping for Logres as a New Year servant. Same. I'm going to be a doubter until I see a weekly release schedule for Strange Fake. I do agree with that. Like, as much as I am excited for it and stuff, I still am really worried about it, given the seeming delays that's happened. JP's big stream tomorrow morning? Yeah, I think it's 8 a.m. They just need to announce a story continuation. I agree. I think, like, if you look at it, if FGO continues the story, it's really primed for some good times. If FGO says we're hanging up the cleats, that's it, we're not doing a part 3, that's really just such a like whiff of like catastrophic proportions. And again, I don't think the game would end in that set of circumstances. It would just be they choose not to do more story. But I think, unfortunately, that will slowly kill the game. Fudge machine? Yep. Yeah, my mother made fudge for the holidays, and I got to take some home. Which normally I would have some before now, but for whatever reason, I don't think she got around to it until late. So it was what it was. Taking a break until more story is structured as something in the middle scenario. While I can see them doing that, I really hope they don't. Just from the standpoint of, to me, it feels like they've had time to come up with stuff. If they haven't, that's 100% on them. Like, and here's what I mean when I say this, chat. When they gave those anniversary interviews and stuff, you know they had to have already like had that stuff in the works, and they still had 6 months from there to get that all handled. There seemingly signs that they were done ahead of time. So to me, truly, like, I don't mind them taking a little bit of time, but I'm gonna say if they take longer than like 6 months, to start the next part of the story. It's like, I'm not issuing them an ultimatum. It's just, to me, that feels bad on their part. I'm also gonna say that if they try to do like an Epic of Remnant style situation here, it's like, to me, that is what Ordeal Call really just felt like. It felt like an addendum, a continuation of the prior existing story. I really don't think we need more of that. Not that there aren't loose ends that couldn't be tied up, but I feel like at this point, make those loose ends part of a part 3. Don't make them part of a segue chapter or something like that. I think the game will end at some point, so we can't hope for so much. I'm not hoping for a lot. I think hoping for the game's story to continue is not overly hoping. I think the people that expect FGO is going to be a different game than it is, at like oh, here's a part 3 and it turns into like Fate Genshin Impact, is like, no, that's not going to be a thing. How long did it take between part 1 and part 2? Part 1 was 1.5 years. Epic of Remnant was 1 year. Lost Belt, let's say you have to back it in. And Ordeal Call. Ordeal Call was 3 years. We've been at this now for 10.5 years, chat. So 10.5 minus 3 is 7.5. Minus 1.5 is 6. Minus that is 5. So we were on Lost Belt for 5 years, and the sum total of part 2 has taken 8 years, to the sum total of part 1 taking at worst 2.5. You consider Epic of Remnant part of part 1. Yeah, there's a little bit of a disparity there. Like, again, that basically means that part 2 took more than 3 times as long. It is what it is. And, you know, I'm all for the people that have said, like, hey, they have really ramped up what they're doing in story and the quality of the production and stuff. It's like, I'm not going to dispute that, and I do agree. But I'm also going to say that at the end of the day, what has slowed down is the overall content pace, and that just actually doesn't feel good. My day has sucked. No power all day. Yuck. Well, at least you got most of your farming already done, right, Arch? If you get new story announcements, be prepared for all the doomers to suddenly start staying. They knew it would continue all along, and everybody else was dumb for thinking FGO could end here. No, I don't think the doomers will say that. That's a very, like, I'd say that's a cope approach. The doomers, the people that actually want the game to end, will get deeply upset. They'll be sitting there and they'll be like, fuck it, I didn't want this. This isn't like what FGO needs and stuff like that. That's what you'll see. You'll see a lot of people that are sitting there like criticizing the continuance. I think the only way I'm going to criticize is, again, if the game story actually truly doesn't, or if they try to take the approach that Nasu had kind of mentioned before, of it being like a sort of like epilogue style deal where, like, oh, the story's officially over, but now, hey, we just have a couple like one-off things and stuff here. It's like, yeah, that doesn't feel good either. Like, to me at that point, rather than string it along with an epilogue chapter every now and then, like, I would say just let it end. That to me feels like you're trying to keep the dead husk alive for a little bit longer. I am doing my I have a few like remaining free quests on Ordeal Call 4 that I just never did. I don't know why I hadn't gone back to them since then. Chat, if you just take Salter into everything, it kind of wins. God, Genshin really did ruin gaming. Everything has the same stupid hub. Or HUD. Yeah. I think this is the same deal, though, for like a lot of games over the years. If you look, whenever something has been major and popular, it has copycats in gaming. An example of this is Dragon Age Veilguard is actually just a shitty copy of God of War's like reboot. If you'll remember, after like the success of Skyrim and The Witcher, you started to see just a shit ton of open world games, right? Like, it is what it is. If you take Sultra to 116, maybe. What do you mean? What do you mean, chat? Valentine's voice lines to say goodbye. I really hope they don't. How would you feel about a soft reset with a new MC? I want to retain the pro tag and mash. If that's the case and we get a soft reset, I'm okay with it. Like I trust at least that if anybody can handle the story of that Nasu is someone that can. If Nasu's not involved, I may be a little bit more worried, but it is what it is. Speaking of Salter, I got a copy of her from Daily Single. Nice. Like daily story rolls gave you more Salter coins. Right? And speaking of which, I should be able to roll. Dark Souls has had billions of copycats. Yeah. And that's what I mean, is like Genshin was successful. Genshin made a lot of money. As a result, everybody tried to copy like Genshin's scheme, thinking that they could do it. And it's the same thing. It's like you saw with MMOs, everybody tried to copy WoW. You saw with open worlds, everybody tried to copy The Witcher and Skyrim. And again, like this pattern just continues on. Game makes a shit ton of money. Everybody else goes, wait, we can do that. And then they try and then they don't. Because they don't understand why the game made a lot of money in the first place. We belong together. Today is your last free daily story poll. You know, it's interesting, but bold prediction here. I think today is the last of the planned ones, and tomorrow will begin eternal daily story polls. I like, again, I predicted that the day that came out. We'll see whether or not that's a thing, but I am optimistic. Ubisoft game design did not come out of nowhere, right? Which, by the way, I think, wasn't it Torak was saying that like Ubisoft was up to something scummy again? I have not seen really any gaming news of late. Dad, how do you have 2,000 Saint Courts if FGO isn't generous? I didn't say FGO isn't generous. I've long been a proponent of saying that it is. We belong together. Genshin successfully copied Zelda Breath of the Wild format to gacha space? Yeah. And ever since then, every gacha game has basically emulated Genshin, which is kind of funny. And it's also why sometimes Genshin fanboys get made fun of, because they assume that Genshin was the first one to like come up with these things. Like FGO isn't the first one to come up with a lot of its concepts either. We just usually don't try to claim that it is. Got my third copy of Black Rail. That's not bad, at least. Ubi had a breach? Oh, great. How joyous. Yet another breach. What quest am I playing? I think it's just one of the free quests in OC4. I'm just trying to get them complete for quartz purposes. JP is more generous than an A. I don't even know that that's necessarily true, because while I do think JP has more live events that grant them quartz, I also think NA has a tendency to make up for it in ways. I mean, that's what everyone else says, yeah. Got the last CE drop I needed with 3 hours to go. Good job. Don't you love how that happens? FGO just got increasingly complex every year to the point that new people kind of need hidden stats guides. I don't know about that. I just... Unfortunately, I think Oberon scaling departed FGO from its like free to play NP1 of everything works type of status. I think Oberon represented a monumental shift where you could use NP1 of everything, but very quickly the game adapted to that and started scaling HP values at a ridiculous level such that you couldn't just get away with NP1 anymore. I think if you look back at that and you look at kind of the way things were before that, NP1 was good for everything other than lotto efficiency grinding. And now post like Oberon, I can't say that that's true anymore. Which GSSR banner am I going for? Someone was asking that earlier. I'm not sure, honestly. I'll have to sit down on the day that I do it, which again, I'm gonna say, chat, tentatively planned for the 5th. Will be the day that I will be back streaming after New Year's. So we will plan to do all of the like New Year's stuff and rolls then. Hit pity 3 times in 2 weeks. That's wild if he's free to play. I'm not going to say that he can't save up that much. He certainly could, but if that's not the case, how is he free to play? NA just has to distribute it differently, yeah. JP stream gives more Sandcourts than NA stream. I don't believe that's true. Like, I would have to actually see somebody plot that out for me to believe that claim. Can I just ruminate as GSR pick? No, I literally just have to go through all of the pools and write down every NP5 I have. That is part of the issue there. When you're looking at skills, it shows you how much the buffs increase the stats. Yeah, I mean, people have been asking for that one for a while. And if that's what you meant by like hidden stat stuff, I completely understand. Like, that has just been an issue with FGO from the get-go, though. And it's why we have to use third-party sites and things like that, so... don't get me wrong, I do think that's somewhat of an issue. However, I'm going to say this. If you guys think... Okay, hold on, because I realize what I'm about to say. If you guys think the FGO community is bad right now with, like, armchair people that claim to know what they're talking about, just wait till you put the actual numbers in the game. And people still won't understand. And they'll be even more confident that they're right. So, that's all I can say on that. On one hand, would it be good? Yes. On the other hand, would it be bad? Also, yes. I know he isn't free to play, but I can't prove it yet. You gonna haul out the Dokes gif of him sitting in the car, like with his hands on the steering wheel, being like, yeah, I mean, if we're comparing current year on JP to anything else, I'd say current year on JP is an obvious anomaly, right? And I'd say trying to hold JP to that, versus like NA is like, no, absolutely not. Like, I don't even think you can hold current year JP to literally even the prior year of JP. I go back going through story and seeing one of the custom Mystic codes giving us full numbers since it shows they can do it. Oh yeah, they can, and they know they can. I think. Hear me out on this, and you guys might not agree with this. It's fine, but this is what I think the logic actually goes with, and it's because I've seen it with Final Fantasy online as well. Final Fantasy 14. There's a sentiment amongst the Japanese devs in Final Fantasy 14 that they don't really want to tell you a lot of stuff in game. They don't want to give you actual numbers because it promotes elitism, it promotes metas, it promotes like only taking very specific setups and people for fights. I think you would see the exact same thing in FGO, and I suspect that's probably part of what they're looking at, where they maybe say, okay, hey, this is something that like we don't want to put in the game because it like degrades the fun casual aspect of the game and starts making it meta and try hard. So I do think that that's where the dev's choice it lies in, but whether or not like you guys agree with that, I think is another thing entirely. But I do believe that's why they've made that choice. I think it's a conscientious choice not to do so. How do you feel about all these EOS talk going on now that we know that it can't be true, but it still makes me sad, especially with the end of Arc 2? On one hand, I kind of understand why people would feel that end of service is coming. And I'm going to blame Nasu and basically kind of the entire like FGO and Type Moon dev staff for the way this has been handled. Okay. On the other hand, like you said, we know it's not ending. We know that the game will continue at least through 11th anniversary. And I'd be willing to bet that they're going to go far beyond that as well. I do believe there is a problem with particularly like the Twitter community in general, because anything algorithm driven is driven by sensationalism, and sensationalism goes really far in a situation like this for being doomer, for saying that there is end of service. Here's the thing about that, and I've said this before, I don't want to be someone that's like vitriolic or anything like that, but I would tell people that, again, if you don't like hearing this sort of talk from people, if you don't like hearing people say, like, the game is ending, yada, 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 stop fucking following them. Stop liking their tweets. Stop retweeting what they're saying. Stop giving them the soapbox that they desire to spread this sort of, like, filth, as far as I'm concerned. That's all I really can say. I'm not going to like begrudge other people for doing what they need to grow, but I do think, unfortunately, that is just the way social media works in general. People get a lot more attention for being controversial. particularly in dragging the game. And if you're a fan of the game, you really probably shouldn't be promoting the people that are treating the game like a punching bag purely for those purposes. Hello, Star. Capcom won't integrate DPS meters on Monster Hunter. Yeah, and so if Capcom won't do that, that makes 3 devs that we know of that are Japanese that won't do it. So I suspect that's why. And thus do people number testing themselves to get values and post about it online anyways, which is hilarious because that's already been a thing and I've already seen people calculate stuff wrong. So it is what it is. Or like you could have 2 sets of the same data and come to 2 completely different conclusions based off of it because it's where the difference is it lies in like viewpoint and interpretation. After the 11th anniversary, it's still an unsure thing for what is after. Right. And I think like that is where I'd say like that is on the devs' fault for not like clarifying that stuff. I don't even follow any FGO accounts on Twitter, but I'm still seeing FGO posts popping up in my recommended. It's fucking weird, and it feels like it's just being brought up because I follow some other gotcha stuff. Yeah, and like I get that. Somebody's got to be liking these tweets unless they're just bot farming, and maybe they are. But like I said, a lot of this I think comes to be the problem of when you have quote unquote Twitter content creators and Reddit content creators that they're not actually content creators. They didn't have to work or try very much, and they're just spamming and farming the algorithm. And having them be your mouthpiece for your community, as opposed to, again, like someone like me or any other content creator that's actually like going out there and trying to physically create content and like do right by the game and is financially invested in it. That at least usually results in, and I'm not going to say that content creators can't be bad too. I think we can, but I think like that usually at least results in more of a vested interest in things, and therefore you're more likely to be a good steward of it. Or likely, just not guaranteed. But I talked about this I think last week, and it was the idea that because we haven't really promoted our content creators very much overall, other than maybe in like 1 or 2 cases, it's like we don't have anybody that can really have the clout to like call these people out and tell them to stop doing this shit. And that is unfortunate. But that is kind of the decision that the community has made overall. The FGO community does not seem to like content creators very much. At least in the general sense. Strange Fate collab possibilities. Next year? It's possible. Hasn't been a pretender Saberface, has there? No. Well, yeah, no. I do follow the official FGO account, I guess. I mean, that's fine. What if they announce non-Type Moon crossover story events that they hinted at forever ago? That'll be a controversial topic in the community. Just in general. Like, if they do that, they can, but I don't know that that'll necessarily be good for the game. It'll, like I said, it'll really depend. I think some people want it, I think some people absolutely don't. So it'll be polarizing. The armchair commanders up in their bases while Cad's down here in the trenches with us. I'm not going to fault people for trying to like make a name for themselves on Twitter and stuff, but I think in the same way as being a content creator, you have to own how you act and be responsible for that. And some of these people I don't think do. They just wish-wash all over the place, and they just want to like kind of sit there and be sensationalist and try to get all the attention they possibly can. And it's why I've seen so many of those Twitter people come and go over the years as they like hop to other IPs when they feel like they've content farmed out this IP. I think that is the unfortunate nature of FGO. Still waiting on the Foreigner chapter that was mentioned. Well, we'll see. Yeah, keep Goku out of Fate. Yeah. I mean, at this point, it'd probably be what, like Stellar Blade and some of the other ones that have been. Okay, chat. Still 7 more of those to do. I'm probably not gonna finish them before New Year's, but it is what it is. Um. Fair warning, chat. We are about to do the final story. I'm gonna skip every actual like cutscene and like physical like reading part, but we are gonna do the final fight. I have no idea what it is. I've at least been given a heads up as to party composition and needing to bring Grams, but otherwise I haven't really been told much of anything about it. So we're gonna kind of go in. We're gonna try to test it and see, and we're gonna do the fight. So again, this is spoilers. You have been warned. I doing my best job here. If you're worried about this sort of thing, maybe check back in like an hour from now or something like that. But all I can really say is that we're gonna try to at least get this one passed. Since again, I know people have been waiting on me to do it. So. Time to lurk? Yep, no problem. Feel free to lurk if you guys don't want to see this. Think there'd be a reveal of new low-star servants related to the story? It could be. Have I read the fight? No. Oh, the finale, no. Again, please, no spoilers, chat. Nice that you stayed unspoiled of the last fight. It's been relatively easy for me because I haven't been on Twitter a huge chunk here lately. Enjoy it, Cat. It's fun. I hope so. There's no unskippable before the fight, right? It's all after. I like how I have to spam the skip button. Don't know what I'm choosing. Okay. Pausing song request for this? No, because I will apparently get copy claimed for this. I don't know what that says. I assume I have a special mystic code. And I'm gonna guess it also affects the backline. You get a free plug plus whatever MC you want. Okay. Uh... You could swap servants every turn? Jesus. I'm seat pushing. It's all good. Spoilers alert. Yep. So I am gonna have to solve/resolve this particular issue. I do have an out here, which is that I have MLB of that. Okay, admittedly, that's gonna get annoying. Okay, so okay, and then we probably the chat's saying I get a free plug regardless. Double check command cards, by the way. Don't know if that mattered for this. I don't know what you mean. Unless you mean command codes. I think we'll go with this for now. Oh my god. Ah. Okay. Here we go, chat. I think it's CQ ones on. It's fine. Sorry, chat. Unfortunately, I believe that I need to not show you guys that. Yeah, this is an unskippable. Okay. Here we go, chat. So I'm gonna assume these are brake bars, if I will. Give me 1 second, chat. I want to find our grand sheet. Because I gotta remember what the grand buffs do for each class. I think most of the defensive effects are when you get a non-specific chain. Yeah, non-specific chain. Disgusting. Cat, have you heard the background music for this fight? No. And we can't listen to it due to copyright. I'm assuming that these are resistances and thus it changes. Looks like Berserkers and Avengers currently don't do well, but then Moon Cancer would. Hence the ability to shift every turn, I think. It's the other way around? Okay. Could go for the Arch Chain, but I think I'll be fine for right now. It's a shame, it's such a good track. I know, but we were warned about copyright for this. Okay. That's some damage. Wow. And a full loop. Okay, so what have you got up your sleeve? Full charge. Ooh, disgusting. Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought that was an unskippable cutscene, but it's clearly a gimmick of the fight. And sorry, chat, you guys missed the Noble Phantasm. Um, yo. I might have been able to bar break there. No cutscene till after the fight, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Okay, we got one of the bars. So it's shifted, and now Saber and Alter Ego are gonna do more to it. So you hit me with Surtur's NP there. Ill Seal, disgusting. And you are ready to Noble Phantasm again. Delia coming out. Getting rid of its invuln. I don't have a Saber or an Alter Ego. And it's resisted against my like two of my other single target damage options. That's just kind of nasty there. Okay. Well, if that's the case, not a single Saber in the Artoria team. To be fair, okay, my last like debate was putting in Lartoria or Artoria, and Ash was sitting there in chat being like, "You better bring Lartoria," and I was like, "Okay, he's not wrong." Like, so I'm just kind of going with a Noble Phantasm that can do something here. I mean, we could try Castoria Berserker. I don't know how well that's going to go for right now. It's at least worthy just to kind of block damage output, I suspect. I do like how everyone just used their favorite for this last battle as they should. I agree, and that is the way this should be. That was one of the things that worried me about the grand fights here, was whether or not like your choice of grand was really going to matter. Obviously, I think some people will be dismayed about the fact that it doesn't seem to matter that much. Whereas I'm happy that you can choose who you want and you're not penalized for it. I think that's actually the better solution. As opposed to, oh, there's like a meta for who you need to choose. Okay, we got another bar. The next you're going to get hit with LB3, I assume. And now it's Assassins and Rurers. Ooh, NP Seal and Drain, kind of nasty effect there. Although, it looks like we at least don't have one on Castoria Berserker, so I can protect the party if need be. We're going to rotate Double X out, and we're going to put in Buntoria here. Again, I just really hate the delay on this skill so much. It, to me, is what really holds Buntoria back. Sorry, I'm debating right now if I want to lock out certain cards or not. I don't really have stars. There's no real benefit to it on this turn, so we won't do it. You know what? No, let's go for it. Is it still burning? Damn, it's not. I don't have a burn command code. Oh well. She has Honey Lake equipped. I just do all my grands at this for the cinema and it worked. Yeah. I'm honestly probably overthinking it to a degree. Do you think it'll be the New Year's unit? I mean, I'm hoping it's Logres, but obviously, I think the sky's the limit on this sort of thing. Won't lose my will to stay. Also, I'm pretty sure Castorian Berserker has NP'd like every turn except one. I do not know what that target effect does. It's also kind of funny because it does AoE attacks, but it's pretty clear that it does not like do multiple attacks in a turn, at least so far. So that is what that is. What is that? Hmm. It's extra core one effect? Oh, I gotcha. Hold on, yeah, let me look. Enemy focus state, yep. Focus on the unit that applied it. Interesting. Well, I probably should have saved the card shuffle, but I digress. Because I literally don't have any cards here otherwise. May as well Noble Phantasm and loop back. I definitely don't like the NP seal mechanic going on here, though. Not my favorite. Hunter's Mark, yeah. The Roman effect, maybe because I have the Roman Mystic Code equipped to her, or someone else. I don't remember who. Oh no, yeah, it was equipped to her. Did we get the bar? We did. Ah, okay. Oof. That's a right in the feels. Okay, so it's Lancer and Moon Cancer now, and it takes increased buster damage. Well. Oh, hi, Pepe. Ooh, death resistance, huh? Ah. I kind of just want to go with the Mighty Chain here, just to see. I don't know how much damage I'm actually going to take. I think it does about 10k. Oh, if only the Buster card crit. Well, either way, we got the bar, technically. Assuming it doesn't have resistance. I haven't checked for the resistances. Yep. Looks like it broke. Oh, it gets a break bar. Disgusting. It's cheating. And it gets new effects and is about to noble phantasm my ass. Okay, we all have guts, but let's see. Ew. Ew. Okay, we all get defense. ¿Cómo estás, bitches? Warning, this fight does heat up your phone. I'm not feeling it yet. Break bars in my FGO battle? Yeah. Oh, wait, hold. Okay. This is kind of overkill. Well, she would have broken the bar too. Doesn't matter. She literally looped back off of one card. So okay, it gets defense and what I'm assuming is special class resistance, and Woody May's about to meteor that ass. Okay, no, we get defense pierce. Oh. I'm gonna do it again! If at first it works, do it again. In a weird way, chat, I know, like, challenge-wise, this is kind of a pushover. But this is fun. I like this. This is to me how a lot of, like, fights should be. Now, like, I'm sitting here having to think a little bit, and it's more about the gimmick than the actual challenge of it. I wonder if it's gonna get ones added for all the ordeal calls. Caster and Pretender. It grew hands! That shit got hands. Too bad no Pretender Saberface. You isn't wrong. Okay, not who I expected to see from LB6, admittedly. We finished this boss. Shit, I got hands. Yep. Still do enjoy it. It's not hard, but there are some annoying things. So far, there's not been anything annoying so far. But admittedly, like I will say, having Castoria and Castoria Berserker as grand choices is kind of trivializing a lot of the stuff. And also, I don't know if chat has caught up, but the NP seals on everybody other than the leftmost unit. If you don't have like your primary damage dealer in the left, it's gonna be kind of annoying. Invuln Pierce. Chat, I think he's gonna pierce Invuln. Unfortunately for him, get blocked, scrub! I like how Castoria could not apply Solemn Defense to me because I already had multiple stacks of it, though. Oh, interdasting. I'll lend a hand, yeah. Bro is shy. Okay. Yeah, the like just instant like full charge effects on the front unit too are also just really strong. Okay, what else are you gonna do? Or are you just angry? Oh boy, it's tunnel time. Forana! Ooh, buff block kind of nasty. I'll have to see who that got applied to. Yeah, you gonna help me pierce that? Thank you. Holy crap. That would have at least been like a very problematic thing. Beast works here too. Interesting. Okay, so who has actual blockage? Next 3 buffs is kind of nasty, not gonna lie. Well, this is perfect for bringing her back in. Hold on. I need to look up the procedure here. Yeah, the attack up won't occur. Shit. I'm actually gonna have to go check to see the order of occurrence here. Because I feel like this will also block the anti-perch defense, but I need to be double sure. Cat cleanse and an anti-perch. Yeah, it is. It is the order. I don't remember that being the case, so that's why I'm confused. Because based off that, it sounds like it will work, and I don't believe it. I don't need the attack up. I need the anti-purge defense here. It's a shame though that I'm not going to get to 200%. Get carved up. Chat, this is the 8-ball getting poked by the pool stick. %. Joy of all joys. I feel like they've done this on purpose. Okay, good. They put me back at 100%. I was about to say, it's like, they showed you it could occur just to fuck with you. Hmm. 99% is cursed. Yeah, you can only get it from getting drained down to it. Unplug is after this bar, CAD? Okay. Well, too late. That just means I'm stuck with what I have at the moment. Five turn cooldown power, money on one turn. I don't mind the one turn. I think the biggest thing that annoys her to me is that her second skill is so ass. Okay, clearly it's not dead. Clearly it's not dead. Do I need to press the button? There's no button. But I guess I press things. Oh, unplug. I got you. Okay, sorry. To be fair, chat, I thought you were meaning, and this is kind of on Torak, because Torak was the person that told me a little bit about the fight ahead of time, and he mentioned having your DPS locked in. So when he said unplug, that's what my brain went to. It's still on me for being thick-headed, but like my brain was sitting here thinking he's meaning that I can't switch them anymore. Jesus. So wait. So hold on. So there was nothing for the ordeal calls. Because I thought it was going to be like, ha, you thought you beat me. Haha, here are 4 more lives. SMH. Damn. God, I think we broke some shit. Chat, even tongue-in-cheek jokey hints, please don't. I'm still waiting, by the way, chat. It's still loading. There's nothing I can do with this. It's a hell of a long load. Yeah. Oh boy, a pure prism. And a holy grail. Text Talks Battletech release. So what is that? Is that somebody just going over Battletech lore? There was an entire another section, chat, so now I'm having to load through the... What the f... Okay. Burning out here twerking. I mean, chat needs to twerk to fix the time stream. Sus, indeed. Oh my god, it's loading so long! Okay. Cat is seeing things, I am. Hmm. Okay. No, chat can talk, just don't spoil, obviously. Still farming an A. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something. You guys still have a little bit of time left on the lotto. Get everything you can. Mr. Cad, do you be spoiling yourself? I can't read Japanese. Okay. Oh, I have to. Oh, okay. I have to download this. Okay. That I am secretly downloading part 3. Oh, it was a joke. I'm not actually downloading part 3. I wish. It's such a good video. Well, it's loading, so. Definitely interesting. No take backs. I mean, I hope so, right? Yeah, that's not surprising. Did I miss anything, by the way? No. Take your time to watch it. I am. I'm watching the ending credits right now. I mean, I'm pretty sure all of Chaldea was a secret war, right? I'm definitely gonna want to watch the ending credits with music. Have they uploaded the credit song to YouTube yet? I don't know. I think like officially it has been, but I think unofficially, like I'm sure people are getting copy struck if they try to upload it themselves. Oh, that was cool. Okay, I like that. That transition. Oh, there's more. Okay. Oh, that was. I bet a lot of people didn't catch that. Interesting. There's some Easter eggs. Hmm. I'm pretty sure that was the artist credit list. Holy shit. Huh? Interesting craft essence. And another grail. Sorry, Chad. There's a lot of like in stuff because it updates profiles and stuff. Ooh. Okay, chat. The new screen is crazy to see after all these years. Yeah. So, chat. It is, in fact, the OG. Just to showcase this to everybody, go ahead, let's close JP down and reopen. Sphere background once again. Chat. OG 1.0. It is. That's amazing. Like, even and like, if they want to do like a new thing for part 3 or something, even just having this for like a day is still like feels good, man. Feels good, man. Welcome, Cat, to a realm report. Please no. Okay. But yeah, chat, this isn't just round, okay? We've had round. This is actual Earth. We haven't seen this in so long. Turn up the volume. See, I've heard this because new players will have heard this. So this isn't that crazy. Whenever I see Salter like that, it's like she's judging me. She is. Since 2018, no? No. Well, like I said, new players still have to go through the story, so until they unlock like Epic of Remnant stuff changes, Lost Belt stuff changes, so it hasn't been that long since I've seen it, but it like seeing it on my account? Yeah, that's been a hot second. Add some rolling hills and you have the Windows EXP, right? Data loss check? I will not tell chat. But I am gonna go check myself. Because some of this is, I don't know if it's a potential spoiler. The badge? Yes, I have the new badge. Oh, my room changed. Um, Nothing on that screen appears to have changed. Is all I will tell chat. My song request just in time. Yep. I did Camelot a year ago. It was a breeze for me. I don't know why everyone was like, it's a roadblock. It is a roadblock. It's a breeze if you know how to handle your account. It's a breeze with newer units. But if you don't have those things, it's still a roadblock. I'm okay with Ash deleting the MASH comment. Camelot was a roadblock back in the old days. It could still be a roadblock for new players, so that's why people warn them about it. It just is what it is. As definitely. Oh yeah, chat. Oh yeah. Hey, chat, come here. Come here. You don't get this if there's not a part 3. We'll see tomorrow. Yeah, there's. Oh my god. Yeah, I caught that immediately, Jay, so thank you. Ah, and Jay's next favorite. So, again, they could have easily left part 2 just strung out if there wasn't going to be a continuation. So, this means that at minimum, there is more story. If that story is a part 3, we'll see. Maybe it's a 2.5. Maybe it's a part 3. Maybe it's an epilogue. I don't know. But all I can say is this does indicate that this is a thing. Otherwise, there's no reason to smush it. It's the OG. It is the OG. It's not One Winged IAA. Bells, frogs, big cherries, ring a bell, ham and cheese. Ay. Also, top center of your screen, the dot is oddly shiny with a ring around it. You talking about this? Yeah, there is a ring. I'm actually excited now. Obviously, and I'm not gonna spoil what I saw, chat, but I've seen a lot of people really sad about the ending. While I understand how that is the case, And again, I'm saying this without actual context, okay? But from what I did see, to me, it is not as depressing as people made it out to be. So we'll see when I actually get to find out. But yeah, I don't think it's like that crazy. At least not in that regard. Pepe laugh. Oh, I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I can kind of read between the lines as to what happened. But, like, I think to me the reason to be sad is because part 2 has concluded. Not the way in which it concluded. But that's me personally. Diamantrodon. Thank you for the follow. Can't stop looking at the screen, right? The menu music is very slightly different from the original. Okay, sorry, I can't, or else I'll sing that in the entire time. All right, let me hear. You're right. It is very slightly different. Could it be a re-recording, maybe? That is possible, but it is almost like a little bit deeper of a pitch and a little bit more like epic. I have to listen to the original in my room? No, I'm not gonna pay for it. How many Bond 15s do I have on JP? I actually don't know. Okay. I like this. I like this. They have actually changed. They've actually upgraded the UI aesthetically in the background here. It's so bubbly, it's nice. I really like it. And again, chat. Come here. Come here. They don't do this if we're fucking ending service! There's no reason to spend any money on the development of a new UI if they're just gonna throw it down the toilet. And to be fair, right? I have been saying that there are signs for a long time. But even for me, it got rough here because I feel like there are so many damn doomers and you don't have a tangible way to disprove it. All you can do is point to circumstantial things like that. But to me, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's no doubt that we're going to get some good news tomorrow now. I want a shirt that's just they're not ending service. Feel free if someone wants to clip that. I don't care. Yes, switching to Unreal Engine just what FGO needs. I mean, a lot of games are still made with Unity and people don't even realize it. Like, again, I do believe like Genshin Impact is made on Unity. So it's like people don't understand that Unity can be a very diverse and robust engine. It's not the engine itself that's the problem with the game. Is Trubs gonna live stream tomorrow? Yes. Yeah, I know he basically went to bed early today so that he'll be up in time for it. I think live stream is at 8 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, and I think Trubs said he'll be live sometime around like 6 or 7. So. Imagine thinking a money printing machine will shut down. I think the big reason that a lot of people would think it is because of the creator's own comments, right? Like, regardless of what Sony wants, if Nasu just literally walks away from this project, I don't think there's a whole lot anyone can do to keep it going for very long. They can certainly try to milk it, but I think, like, if he has truly no involvement from there on out, I don't think the project will have long. But I just, again, for me, this is not something that I ever believed that they would do. I knew that the developers, Sony and Aniplex, didn't want it shut down. The only question in this was, what does Type Moon think? Type Moon was the big question mark, and again, you had basically the writers and lore staff kind of sitting there saying the polar opposite of like, oh, everything has an end, this is gonna come to an end, yada 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 yada. So we'll see. And again, I do believe that some of my predictions have come true with that ending. Yeah, you guys have heard some of my predictions over the years. I'm not going to tell you which ones, but there's a reason that I don't feel upset about that ending. I'm like really hopeful and happy. I do get why people feel that way based just off what I've seen. But for me, that was almost parts of the conclusion were inevitable. And I felt like it was the natural progression of a story. That's all it is. He also says he's just going to supervise for part 3. I mean, I haven't heard him say that specifically, but if that is the choice that, like, he would do, I don't have an issue as long as he is oversighting. I think if Nasu completely steps away from the project, we have problems. But if they want to tell a new story in the Fate universe through FGO, I'm fine with it. I got no issues. Also, if they want to end the quote-unquote Grand Order, and that's the mechanism of a new story, also fine with that. What's your prediction for main story for part 3? Honest to God, I now can't give it now that I've seen the final cutscene. Like, for spoiler reasons. Without even having, like, all the context of that, I still know enough to be dangerous, so. But chat has heard my predictions in the past on such things. Things that I thought would make a good idea for a story or that I would like to see. I'm going to say some of that still holds true. Didn't Nasu say Arc 3 depends on our participation in the last chapter? No. Yeah, the comment basically said, Nasu was like, I'm not going to end the game, basically. I'm not going to end the story if people want it. But then he also said, but this will depend on participation in the final chapter. I'm going to call that FC for now. But then Takeuchi came in and said, yeah, but we'll probably have to make a decision earlier than that. So it'll probably be as of like participation in the final ordeal call. That is to say, how many people complete ordeal call 4. Sorry, just blocking it. How many people complete ordeal call 4, and how many people actually are ready to do the final chapter is what they would determine it on. This is why completing ordeal call 4 is what granted you the 1,000 quartz, and not completing the final chapter. Because I do believe the devs are fighting for their lives and their jobs and want us to complete it. If Nasu supervises, he will inevitably get sucked into writing something he can't help himself. Yeah, I do agree with that, and that's why I'm perfectly fine with it if he wants to take a step back, but still be involved in the project. I almost always miss the lore theorizing stream, so I haven't. You'll have to go back and try to find one. Most of the story chapters are written by other people, and they were good, so it's fine. Yeah, I agree with that. I think, like, if we go back to, like, the origin of FGO, obviously the beginning of the game is not up to par with, like, the rest of the stories that come later. But I don't see that ever happening again. Also, we may have collabs inside the Nasuverse at the end of part 2. Yeah, he did say that in the past. Admittedly, he hasn't revisited that statement in the past, like, 2 to 3 years, so we'll see whether or not that is in the works or the plans, but, and the reason why I say that is because I think Nasu's mentality has been that he wants story to end, so that he can move on. And I think in the last year especially, he has come to grips with the fact that people don't want it to end. And as a result, I think he's beginning to reach the, like, you know, the stages of, like, grief chat, right? And it's like, he's kind of at the acceptance stage now, where he's just, I think he's kind of learning that, like, he can't, quote unquote, escape FGO. That is to say that it's like, it's a beast of his own making. It's stupidly popular. Again, I liken it to, it's like George Lucas with Star Wars. It does not matter what other thing George Lucas creates. It does not matter that he's divested himself from Star Wars and sold it off to Disney and wants nothing to do with it. Star Wars is his legacy, and Star Wars is what everyone will talk to him about. Always. So it's like, I think Nasu is realizing that it is almost inevitable, it is inescapable. He's not going to be able to escape one of the most successful games of all time. I just want them to remake New Orleans and Rome, and I can recommend this game to new players. Honestly, I don't even think they need to remake stuff, like, in that regard. You guys know, my big hope is that we get a part 3, and that part 3 basically becomes its own thing. So instead of having to do part 1 to go to part 2 to go to part 3 and having all of the wind up and build up and, like, stuff that a new player has to do in order to get here, I would much rather they took this and got rid of any sort of requirement and said, this is now kind of like the Epic of Remnant, where you can go back, you can do it at any time, story's great, tons of rewards, go do it. But that it is not required, and that this becomes a new start. And that all new players will start with part 3. And that they can go back and do part 1 and part 2 when they need to. Now, I've seen people say, like, oh, then that means they have to have a new protagonist stuff. It's like, no, they don't. They just have to make it where major tie-ins are explained, but otherwise references to what has happened can be kept brief and not really that relevant to the current story. Disney was the worst thing that happened to Star Wars. Yeah, you're not wrong to a degree, but I also think Star Wars fans are the worst thing to happen to Star Wars at points. I say that as a Star Wars fan. Sounds like a good idea. No, this is what I'm really hopeful that they do, because otherwise they're going to run into the Final Fantasy XIV problem, which is that as they keep doing more story, it gets more and more difficult to bring a new player in because they have to play through each successive expansion to get caught up. WoW solved this by making the expansions optional. I'm saying this is basically what they should also do. They should make part 1 and part 2 story optional, where you're heavily incentivized still to do it because of the rewards that are there, but you don't have to do it in order to get caught up to current. Fade go unlimited route works. And honestly, that's actually a good way of thinking about a captain, is like, instead of like saying we have to go part 1 into part 2 into part 3 onward, that's crap. And then I'm sitting here proposing this as its own thing, and then this is a new thing. The way to think about it could be you have part 1 and part 2. Of the Grand Order route. And that part 3 and onward is a new route. A new what if. Almost as if it is a visual novel. And to be clear, chat, if they do a new route, it needs to be like, oh, like, almost like butterfly effect of like, oh, like, maybe Marsbury doesn't win the Grail War in Fiyuki, somebody else wins. That other person that wins, because they win, the Grand Order is never established. And now new events are unfolding that are completely different from the original route. So it kind of like in some visual novels, you have almost like a tree where stuff like branches off of it. But instead, this would be more like, hey, or like, again, you have one split point right there at the beginning, and it results in 2 completely different routes, right? Hey, spoilers? No spoilers right now. I was discussing what I'd like to see for part 3, but welcome everybody. And actually, you picked a perfect time to raid in, Ventus. How's it going, bud? What are you guys up to? I think if you do a part 3, and if part 3 becomes its own like thing that you can start with, you probably need to do like a story mode and then a like hard mode. So like hard mode would be like for the veteran players that have like 120s and stuff, and story mode would be for people that are going through it for the first time. Yeah, we just finished part 2 on JP. We are fully caught up and ready for New Year's now. Just finished CQ, nice and easy this time around. Yeah, honestly, I didn't have much trouble with the CQ. It was definitely a fun one in that regard. I don't know why. Servant Gauntlets are actually... they're the most overdone challenge concept, but they're still like my favorite ones. Because they make you think a little bit. I'd be down for a new game plus part 1. Well, I think if they start doing like a hard mode moving forward, they could go back towards like part 1 and part 2, and over time like add in hard modes for it. So that way they don't have to do it like all at once. I haven't seen that, if that's the case, Cody. I've heard good things about Part 2's finale. Yeah, I have as well. Regardless, are easy because of Draco, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely nice. I've done a lot of like Saberface only runs, and I do them because they're fun. I like the additional like limitation and challenge, but admittedly, some of the Saberface runs have gotten like really easy at this point because of the availability of units. Usually the only thing that's going to cause me trouble with Saberface runs is if there's like a gimmick that the Saberface is just overall lack. Am I allowed to request the beginning to end anime of Cosmos and the Lost Belt now? I mean, you can certainly request it. I don't know that we'll ever get it. It'd be great, honestly. The problem, honest to God, the problem with that would be that, to me, Lost Belt is intrinsically tied in with Part 1. And that if you do that, it's kind of like, okay, but then the people won't understand like the events of Part 1 unless you just have a massive TLDR for them. How many Saber faces at Bond 15? I think that's Bond level. What is my... Hold on. Not too many. I do a really good job of not hitting Bond 15. I know some people like to do it as a sign of, like, devotion to their characters, and that's fine. But remember, for years, chat, I have been trying to prevent myself from maxing out Bond so that I'm Bond efficient. And I have only kind of changed that stance since JP has added in Bond Overflow. I'm in for Shinjuku anime. Shinjuku anime would be amazing, I feel like. Isn't there a game director position opened at La Single a few years back? Yes, they were looking for a Part 3 director. We do know that. But I don't believe Mr. 2 has ever made any comment about stepping down. Just that he... he's gotten emotional about the ending of Part 2. Because it's been a long time. Like, remember, he is Part 2's director, not Part 1's. He has had his job position for 8 years, chat. Like, we were just talking about that, again, you have Part 1, you have EOR, you have Lost Belt, and you have Ordeal Call. Part 1 quite literally lasted 1.5 years. Epic Remnant lasted 1 year. And Lost Belt lasted 5 years, and Ordeal Call lasted 3 years. So he's been installed since then, and I don't remember. He may have come aboard like as the director in Epic of Remnant. If that's the case, he has even another year. But yeah, he's held his position for at least 8 years compared to anybody else holding the position for 2.5 years. If there's anything to adapt, it's LB6. They could certainly adapt LB5. They could certainly adapt LB6. They could certainly adapt LB7. I feel like all of those would be really interesting stories for an anime. But I think you run into the same problem that you do with the other FGO animes, which is that Part 1 is... like, the way it was treated was like, oh, it was hacked up and we only got Camelot and Babylonia, and then Temple of Time, and it's like, okay, that's cool, but like, you guys see there's definitely a lot to be desired with how that got handled, and a lot left kind of out and lacking understanding. I hope parts from now on stay about 2 to 3-ish years. Yeah, honestly, like, if Ordeal Call was its own like self-contained thing that didn't relate to Cosmos and the Lost Belt. 3 years? That's fine. I do agree with that. I think that's like the perfect pace for a story arc. I feel like getting beyond this is where it starts to feel like, oh my god, dude, please just move on with the story. Like, and I love FGO's story. It's just, it was definitely sandbagged, right? Like, they took their sweet time with it. Heart rate was so cool, yeah. Yeah, I feel like there's some moments that would be really epic if they were animated. I don't know if there's any animators that could keep up with how the orc fight feels. They could, but they would really have to showcase the existential threat and loss through storytelling means. Like, they would have to, regardless of animation, the pressure that that fight put on you would have to be felt narratively. Gonna head off for the night. Excellent rest of stream. Looking forward to an incredible 2026. Thank you, and Happy New Year to you too, Ventus. Guys, if you haven't ever given him a follow, go give that man a follow. He's a good buddy of mine and a fellow FGO streamer. He loves his Phantom of the Opera. Go check him out. Did they announce anything new for JP? No, we are literally going to get news tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. That is their New Year's stream. So, again, Mr. Two Love Trouble will be live streaming that. He'll be live translating everything. Let me get that man a shout out as well. If you guys haven't ever followed Trubs, go click on his name, give him a follow. And like I said, he'll be live translating all of that. So that's a stream that I know people don't necessarily want spoilers, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that is probably the most important stream in the history of FGO ever. Like, so hopefully we get some good news out of that. Hopefully the reason certain creators disappeared is because they got them working on part 3 already. That would be my hope as well. And I do suspect that that has been going on behind the scenes. FGO seasonal anime starting from Fuyuki and filling up the weaker chapters or trimming down some of the bloat. That'd be great. I would love it. But you'd have to find a... You'd have to find a studio that's willing to take it on and can do it justice. And honestly, that's still a shit ton of stuff. How long until that? 8 a.m. Eastern time. It's currently 9:36 p.m. Eastern time. So... little over 10 hours from now. Does love the... Oh, okay, here. Let me get to my proper shout out for those of you guys on mobile. Here, you should be able to click on that link. Would it be later than normal JP streams? Yes, it is. And part of the reason for that is because it's literally, it's like their New Year's, like, borderline midnight stream. It's 2300 JST, which is 9 a.m. Eastern. Are you sure? Are you accounting for daylight savings? Somewhere between 8 and 9. Yeah, that's, and I don't know, right? Like, I've heard 8, but I don't actually know that for a fact. Either way, I'll be watching Trubs. Made the Umusume anime crazy good. If they can do that with Horse Girls, they can do that with FGO. I mean, I'm not gonna say that like studios can't do it. It's just it revolves around studios having the time and the manpower to do so. The time is the biggest one because everybody's fighting for slots at these anime studios. Thanks for linking cattle. Make sure to follow Trump for this. Good. Let them know I sent you. Gotta support my homie. And it gets a developer diary tomorrow. I saw someone mention that. Where was that announced? I haven't seen it myself personally. And like honestly, I'm hopeful that that is the case, but like it's not surprising to me, I guess. YouTube tweet on Aniplex USA. Okay. If someone could like DM me the link to it if it's already up, or at least the link to like the referencing tweet, I'd appreciate it. Are you going to stream New Year's rolls tomorrow or Thursday? I am going to stream New Year's rolls next Monday because I am going on a trip with my girlfriend over like New Year's here. So this is going to be the first New Year's that I will not be with you guys in a long time. SNFGO news on Discord. Yeah, I'm fine. Usually if I ask people to send it to me, it's because like... Okay, premieres in 23 hours. December 31st at 9 p.m. Oh. That is very... interesting. So, I don't want to alarm anyone. However, I will say, let's consider a possibility here. Obviously, this is a good time for them to drop a dev diary. We usually get them quarterly, and Mr. 2 has been handling them, and we are, how should I put it, overdue, right? So it makes sense. However, this does sync up with another possibility. And that is that if Mr. 2 were stepping down and we were getting a different director for part 3, they would kind of also need to announce it for the NA side, because he technically wouldn't be in charge anymore. So there's that. And yes, they may also try to just counter that doomer thought there. They may also, if they're going to promote him to part 3's director, make the announcement for the NA side as well. So it's an interesting idea. Well, like I said, I think a little bit, there's a lot riding on this no matter what. Like, it's very, 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 this is going to be like probably the most interesting like 24 to 48 hour span that FGO has had in a long time. Or advertised GSSR, yeah. Like I said, it's definitely overdue. We're definitely going to get some news on that front, but we'll see. They don't want NA going into the JP stream? No, the timing for that doesn't work. It's about 12 hours off if that's the case. No Destiny order summon this New Year's. Yeah, correct. We get Mr. 2 full-time now. That could also be a thing where they work in tandem for a bit. I'm just waiting to see Mr. 2 pulling off a shirt that says 3 on it. I hope so too. Again, for those of you guys that don't know, 3 in Japanese is pronounced san, in the same way that when we call him 2-san as an honorific. So I'm hopeful that he's part 3's director just for the meme of calling him San-san, aka 3-san. I really hope he gets to be the director again, just for that meme. San is Sans? Oh god, please no. Tu means knee, so he is our Nissan? True. Actually true. I want to give him a Tucson, Arizona shirt. I see. NAFGO doesn't talk about JP, so this would be rare. They usually do not. And that's why I said the only way I could think of it would be if there was a need to address it. And to be fair, right? Let's consider this other possibility. Chat. Smart marketing would dictate that you would want to make sure that the NA player base is informed of a continuance on JP. Why do I say that? It's pretty obvious that everybody is concerned over the state of the game going forward. So making an announcement on the JP side about the continuation of the game, yeah, you should also make that announcement on JP. Even if you don't say what it is for spoiler purposes, you could just say we are going to be continuing FGO into the future with new story and stuff like that. That's all you really have to make the announcement for. Monster Punter? No, not yet. 75 minutes till lottery ends? Indeed. NA has marketing? NA does have a marketing department. Though I do believe their hands are just ultimately tied and they don't have any actual funding. I literally think NA's marketing budget goes towards the banner that they hang in Anime NYC and Anime Expo, and that's it. Tell me I'm wrong. And then maybe YouTube ads. I think it's where their entire budget goes. Because most of the biggest whales on NA play JP. Unless you're saying not most of them. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know. I definitely feel like there's big whales on both sides that they would want to convince, right? Happy New Year's to you too, Wolf. Spread good news, not bad. Exactly. They're nice banners, that they are. It's just one of those deals where it's I don't think they get much funding beyond that. Booth space and convention panels also. Yeah, I just don't know if that's actually in the marketing budget or, another realm of the budget. If it is, that I agree. It probably is something that's just weighing it down. They give out FGO lanyards at cons for 1 year. Yep. The FGO Vietnam server still dead. Wasn't that an issue though of legal problems? So next Monday, no problem, Peen. Only news I want is Sanct Quartz they give as a reward for farming my apples on raids. I don't think JP needs to be any more generous. I have a bold claim, but I feel like FGO JP does not need to give anything out for the next 3 months. With how generous they have been. I have an idea for the video, the history of FGO. I am someone that is very uniquely capable of recounting a lot of that stuff. But I don't know that even I'm qualified. Because unfortunately, a lot of the people that were around in the OG days are not around anymore. And a lot of the people that have been around for a long time either haven't been around as long as I have or haven't, like, they weren't necessarily paying attention to stuff like that. So it's a hodgepodge of stuff. Why would they agree to such a long collab? Oh, that's easy. It makes perfect sense from HSR standpoint. I wouldn't say that the HSR collab has being long is anything to do with Fate and FGO, so much as it's HSR trying to siphon off of Fate's popularity and players. So of course they want that to go on for a long time. I'm sitting at 2.5 pities on JP. I don't know what I'm sitting at now. It takes so long to load into the banners right now. Yeah. So I am at least over 2. Because 1800 would be 2. So I have an extra 157. I have whatever that converts into, which is probably like another like 7 to 10 quarts, I guess. And then I have my tickets as well, which I did see. I think there's a timer over here, so I need to go back and double check. Talk about the first Valentine's Day? No. No. We've already talked plenty about the first Valentine's Day, and at this point, everyone should forget it. I think NA is freaking out as well. I am, at least. NA definitely is. I've seen a lot of people that are concerned, right? And that's why I said I don't think it's helped at all by like people on like social media talking about like end of service and stuff, because there is no indication of that. It's just people are trying to push that point for controversy and attention. How much Sank Quartz will they give us on New Year's too? I wouldn't be surprised if they gave out a lot of Sank Quartz in a similar way as a milestone for completing part 2 of the story. That makes the most sense, especially if you're the devs and you want people to complete story. Don't actually like just freely give out the stuff. Tie it into story completion. That way it's both permanent and it's a milestone that will drive people forward to actually play the game the way that the devs want them to. So, chat, predictions. Part 3. Whether or not it comes during the live stream tomorrow or not. I believe that the free story summon will become permanent. I believe that the 1,000 Sank Quartz for completing OC4 will also become permanent. I believe that Logres will be our New Year's unit. And those are my 4 predictions for now. Quite a few fake content creators have been very silent. I'm gonna be real with you. I think there's like, I can speak for my own lack of content here. One, it admittedly has been difficult to make content for the game lately. 2, I have been very busy with my own personal situation. But it's not out of like a lack of desire or drive to do so. If I look at other people, I do believe there are some other people that probably do feel like the game is ending, or they maybe don't actually care about FGO that much and we're just milking it. I couldn't really tell you. As for why like people are silent and not making as much content, keep in mind too that there is also the hamstringing of like the finale is difficult to make content for because it's so locked down. Like, again, you guys got to see the final fight with me, but I can't go out and sit there and like really start making content based off of it because we're not even supposed to show it. So are there 70 grail fragments in your account? Are there? Yeah, there are. Don't worry about it. That just means I have 10 more grails. OG Saber still hasn't been a main story character, right? That goes back to the philosophy on things, with how they've treated FGO and characters in it. Dad got a life, sadly, unfortunately. Wait, what do you mean sadly and fortunately? Any Hail Mary predictions? Yeah, PC client would be massive. Honestly, PC client's not the worst. Like as far as a Hail Mary, that is a Hail Mary, but that's an actually believable Hail Mary. I think, again, like expecting the game to become like open world or something like that, I think those are actual, like, yeah, it's a Hail Mary, but I don't think it's gonna happen. In the sense of, I don't believe that the dev staff has plans for stuff like that. I think the coolest thing that we might get to see that is potentially possible would be like a revamp of like My Room, where it is actually much more interactable with regards to characters. But we'll just have to see. And yeah, sorry, I was just thinking. No problem, Sandman. Thank you. Appreciate it. Happy New Year's to you too. Steam would be good for the game too. I'm a little 50-50. Like, PC client, yes, I agree. PC client's a good idea. Steam, I don't know that Steam release is a good idea. It is what it is. Yeah, I feel like it would just get review bombed. I do feel like as well, there may be issues there with the cut that Steam takes and the price of the packs that would get charged. I think I heard recently that some other game is getting a PC release, but you're not allowed to use your prior existing account on Steam, and that just is completely asinine to me. So it's like, I feel like there's a lot of issues if they try to go to a different publisher and work through that, but it could be fine. Grand Blue, yeah. Playing it as we speak, I am annoyed. Yeah, I don't understand why you can't use your existing account. That just sounds stupid. And again, I'm a huge Steam proponent, but The reason why I'm a skeptic is because I've already seen so many gacha games try to do it and fail. So that's where it's like, I don't know that it's necessarily the best idea. But I will say, I do think if it can be pulled off, it is a good idea. But we might have another Overwatch situation where it becomes like the most negatively reviewed game ever. Because again, I feel like there's just a lot of salty ex-FGO players. On PS5 would be interesting too. That would be the first ever game that Fate has released for PlayStation 5. And I know chat's gonna be like, no, what do you mean, CAD? Like, you can play like Samurai Remnant and stuff on PS5. It's like, you can. For some odd reason, every time Type Moon releases something, though, it's made for PS4 instead. And I don't know why. It's funny Steam reviews became its own fucked up culture. I think Steam reviews are an important thing, and it's definitely a way for players to voice frustration. And I can't argue that like FGO doesn't deserve some backlash from its community in a tangible way, but it's so unfortunate because it's like again, you'd have probably like thousands of people in there just complaining about the gacha. And it's like, okay, cool, but the gacha is and always has been FGO's problem. It's not necessarily going to change. And that would be an interesting thing. Like, you know, maybe that's another Hail Mary prediction is like, what if they do something new with the gacha? But we'll see. I think like it is certainly intriguing to think about all the possibilities, and it's why like I struggle to come up with something here is purely based off the idea and concept that quite literally it all depends on what the devs' ambitions kind of desire and feel like they can achieve. Bigger install base, more money, that's why everything is on PS4. Yeah, well, it's also because they just don't they want to hit the PS4 market, right? But they don't necessarily want to try to like upgrade to the new standards of PS5, and they know that PS5 will quite literally be able to run it anyways. So they just go like, okay, we're making it for PS4. My Hail Mary is they announce nothing, just show an image of more silhouettes and then leave. That would certainly be underwhelming, and I feel like until they made a future story announcement, that'll piss people off. And chat, again, I'm going to state this because I stated it yesterday, but you guys need to prepare yourself for the eventuality that is that during the live stream tomorrow, they make no announcement of a part 3 or a continuance of story. And that instead, what happens is the next day after the clock strikes midnight and we go into the new year, that they actually end up giving you like a proper announcement. So it may just be that it's not announced during the live stream, and instead it literally comes in the form of like a new trailer or something shown in game or on YouTube or something later. So gotcha is gotcha. It won't get worse, right? Right? Yeah. Devs take forever to do anything important with the game. I do agree with that, and I've said this too. This is another thing. Like, chat, let's say we do get a part 3 announcement. I think you get an intro and a trailer, and that's it. And I don't think you see new story for another 6 months. Okay. I've seen people say like and throw around like a year. That is certainly possible. I just really hope they don't take that long. So my guess would be that sometime around like June or July, you would see new story out of JP. I'm expecting nothing, so I won't be disappointed. That's a fair approach. Probably for NA to catch up to JP by making all the event story playable at our own pace. That would certainly be interesting. I just don't know how that would be handleable. like I said, I think the only way they could do that is if they made like part 1 and part 2 optional. And you know, hey, hold on real quick here, chat. This is actually an interesting idea. Let's take that for a second. What if you didn't have to catch up to JP, but instead they just announced that part 3 was going to be simultaneously released? That's at least interesting. I think it would still be the equivalent of a crunch, but quite literally they would just let part 2 continue at the pace that it needed to, and you would just be doubling up with part 3. But that way, everybody would be relevant at it. So it would actually solve the 2-year gap issue if they did that. But that is definitely interesting. You're gonna be doubling up the work for NA? Yeah. And I'm not saying they're gonna do that, but that is a possibility of something. Like, it's another solution that they could provide that may or may not be better than like just straight up catching up. That'd be interesting, but how would events work? Again, potentially doubled up. Because of strange fake, yeah. Newfie, thank you for the follow. And they cannot handle the catch up. Yeah, I agree with that. Painful for translators. Albert be looking like Palpatine at the end of part 2. You know, it's really interesting because I do feel like the translation staff has been pulled onto other projects, which implies that they have much more load capacity that they can handle. Plus, we do at least know that the NA staff did bulk up their like localization. So that happened sometime over the past year, and it makes me wonder, like, why did they bulk up the localization staff if not for bigger projects? And especially it's like, oh, well, if FGO's not gonna have more story, you don't need a bigger localization staff. If anything, you'd be downsizing. It's like, well, maybe they're gonna pull them onto other games and stuff. And it's like, that's certainly possible, but it definitely makes me wonder, like, hey, yeah, that could potentially be a possibility. So if that ends up being something that I've called, that's hilarious, but I don't think it necessarily will be. Pacific Rim voice, it's a double event, yes. To be on Korean pacing? No, because I think a little bit Korea had accelerated timing and duration for things. In theory, you would still have like... So for instance, you would have 3 weeks for an event on an A and 3 weeks for an event like 3 weeks for an event during the part 2 normal schedule, but then also 3 weeks for the event during a part 3 event. So even if they're overlapping, you still have that time. They would probably have to like give you apples and stuff, but like you wouldn't necessarily feel crunched, to say the least, especially because we have had longer stuff there. Sounds horrible? Yeah, I'm not saying they should. I am just saying that, like, again, this is a possibility. Profitability would increase if Global didn't have clairvoyance. Correct. Did they release any new Fate story or novel recently? Not super recently. I mean, we are getting Strange Fake anime quite literally here in January, and we are obviously ongoing with several other like Fate things, like Lost on Here are and whatchamacallit, Redline and Foxtail. True, JP players wouldn't stick with the game if they passed a year. I think they would to a degree, but I do believe like the longer it went on, the more stall there was until a new story actually began, the more people would atrophy or at least like take a hiatus. And just up to reward some nodes. I mean, they could, but that would at least require them to monkey with the code a lot more. They have diarrhea comments from people wanting NA to catch up on Megalol. I think there's a couple of reasons. One, there's always been the pressure to catch up purely just to have new things, right? So I'm just gonna say the newest stuff. Two is, and I'm just gonna be honest, it is the spoiler argument. Spoilers are so god awful for the NA side of things because JP players cannot keep their mouths shut, and it just sucks. And I feel so bad for them. And then three, I do believe this one's more on the dev side of things, but as chat has mentioned before, it is the clairvoyance factor. Some people would prefer not to have it. The devs certainly would prefer if you didn't have it, because clairvoyance does lose the money. You're able to pick and choose where you roll and how to optimize your stuff by plotting out a strategy well ahead of time that's made 2 years in advance. JP doesn't have that. So JP just kind of has to fly by the seat of their pants. So I think that's, you've always seen people that have wanted to catch up. The arguments obviously for against catching up are the burnout, the extreme load, and like in general just the idea that that we gain clairvoyance by it. So it is an interesting topic, to say the least. Later, King. Have a good one, bud. Spin the globe, Mr. Streamer Man. I can't do it on this one. I think I have to tab all the way through. There you go, chat. So I can't, I can only spin it. I cannot rotate to the southern hemisphere, for instance. Main interlude. Is that where Tunguska was located? Because I thought Tunguska was like over here. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You haven't finished? I mean, I have, but yes, admittedly, like, see, that's Trom. Yeah, I can't even. Oh wait, hold on. Maybe I can touch Tunguska. Yeah, the whole UI is overhauled. That's really nice. It's just got a lot more quality feel to it. I didn't think I had to do it if I had already beaten it. He hasn't touched it at all? Yeah, I didn't think I had to. This is interesting. Get to it. Okay, they've definitely changed it. Like the confirmation boxes, instead of being blue and white, they're now blue and gold. This is actually the way some of my original design used to be. Well, more quartz. Sweet. Oh, hell no. Nah. I'll save that for content on a day where I don't actually, like, have anything to do. And that's why it's still there, I guess. It'd be what it be. I mean, granted, I haven't done the repeat of Ordeal Call 3, and Dubai is not lit up either, so... It may just be a coinkydink. Beaten in literal 2 seconds? No, it was beaten in negative time. It was dead before we even arrived. Test area is now Bond 14. Yep. More quartz farming. Speed run it? I really don't feel like it tonight, honestly. Radio Call 3 is on Bleached Earth. Oh, true. That is a good point. Tunguska technically isn't. As chat can see. I still have a couple more of these. They fucked up the clock. Yeah, probably. Here, I'll turn song request back on. Because I know chat really wants to hear that. The Russia thing isn't for Tunguska? I believe it is. I'm just not sure. Because honestly, when it comes to JP, I don't pay super close attention to my main interludes. And it's mostly because I do everything while it's relevant. Chat, you've heard of one winged angel, but what about three winged angel? I like how they spun in time with the beat. First time I think I've managed to that for a unit in their debut event. I basically got Merlin to Bond 10 the day he came out, which was hilarious. But that was because the Solomon raids were a thing. If it wasn't for Tunguska, it's one hell of a coincidence. It could be. It could just be that there's a shiny dot on the globe there. Because again, like I said, I've already completed Tunguska in its entirety, so technically the main interlude should not show up as a, like, requirement. Later, Nasser. Have a good one, bud. What about SMT Angels? I don't know that I've ever seen the Shin Megami Tensei Angels. I'm sure they're beautiful. Ne memore facias. Oh, sweet. Meteor shards. Actually needed that. An SOS signal from Kadok we forgot to pick up? Probably. Chat, after this, I think we'll do some NA account planning. Also, now I have the special symbol indicating that I've beaten part 2, which is interesting. Like I said, there's a whole lot of signs that, like, the game is going to continue on, because if not, there's not really any reason for them to do any of this stuff. So it indicates to me that they really do want to, like, continue on with the game. I don't think you go to the effort of implementing all of this stuff if you're just going to be like, okay, let's pack it up. Like story's over. We're not doing anything else with this. So to me, I think that's what you'll see is you'll see that sort of thing. I don't have that dot on my JP. It's probably your Tunguska interlude. Fair then. I just find it funny because, like I said, it's not like I haven't done Tunguska. So it's definitely a weird thing that they would do that. I will say, chat, the ending cinematic for part 2 was very beautiful. Like, I'm very pleased with what they did for that. I'm pleased with the animation style and like who they got for it. They cooked, they did. They absolutely did. And I think I understand why they don't want it shown to people, but to me it's like, man, it's such a beautiful thing. It had me feeling things. Like I said, I don't even have proper context for it and had me feeling things. So it's definitely a nice addition. Not gonna lie, I started crying during it. I think everyone that watched Trubs was saying they were crying, which I can definitely understand. Like, I'm not gonna say I felt the need to, but I definitely felt like emotion welling up inside me. And I think like part of the deal there too is for those of you guys that consider this, it's like if you've been playing the game for a long time, it is such a long journey that like you are gonna feel nostalgic. You are gonna feel like really, really sentimental when you get to see the final cinematic for this stuff because it just truly is a big deal. It's been a like big part of your life for a long time. 39 minutes left, chat. Quickly, get your Nemos out. It is kind of sad that they give us the 1 day gap, so we will have like literally all of the 31st with no lotto, but also no 2 times suck, which is just kind of evil. So PSA for everybody, don't open your lotto boxes and level up your units tomorrow. Just wait 24 more hours and then do it, because you're gonna get the benefit of 2 times suck rate. Too late, I know. I get some people already have. Nemo Lotto was my best ever, 470. Nice. Proud of you guys that did a lot. I know some of you guys have been complaining. It's definitely an undertaking to do it. I myself, I'm really surprised that I got it done. I didn't think that I would. Like, honest to God. I already opened up all my boxes too and rolled the FP. Aren't the C's gone from the FP summon at reset? Yeah. I mean, like, if you didn't get any of that stuff, feel free to. Rolling out your FP here is not bad, as someone was pointing out again. You do have a 1-star on rate up, which normally you don't have rate ups during the FP pool. And you had craft essences there. Let's look at Medusa here. I gotta see the scaling on this. Hmm. It's Petrify chance. And then the third skill is literally just cooldown and such. Oh, right. So I forgot the whole reason I stopped this is because I didn't have the QP for it. Go ahead and exchange some. That gives me 108,000. Doing anything with wait. Okay. I was gonna say doing anything. Oh no, what is that material requirement? Disgusting. I didn't realize I was so late on that. Yeah, let's hit the new where to find button. I'm actually going to double check this because I haven't really had the opportunity to. So it's suggesting that one, which is the free quest debugging. Best one is build partition headquarters. Yeah, it's debugging. Okay. Kudos. They get that right. And the second best one is segregated facility, assuming it's in order. That is not correct. Material farm is actually better than this. So I wouldn't necessarily rely on the order of these, but the suggested node is the correct one here. I see when orbs were awful for. I mean, it happens. We were moving through a pins. Zoking globules. Oh, don't call them globules. Now I gotta do those. Huh. I'm surprised I stopped on bicorn horns, but I don't really have any particular love for those other appends on her. Abby actually makes a lot of sense to lore, but it's a similar deal of I technically don't have to. Ah, this one's rough. And remember, be positive. Yeah. I think this is a similar one of like, I doubt I'll ever need any of these specifically, but I should hold off just in the off chance I do. Also, good lord, I don't know if chat noticed how many coins I have for her. Frickin' Tlaloc, man. Perfect. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Hey, what bond level do I have her at? She's only bond 6. Okay, sweet. Means I can still gain quite a few more coins with Draco. The fuck it ain't bond 6? Not 10? That's me. I usually don't brute force units. I will make it a goal to get her to bond 10, because again, like with the grand system and the way things have been, it makes perfect sense to. Which that'll actually be another interesting thing of like, what if we do get a part 3 and any sort of like story or protagonist reset? Like, how does the grand system work for that sort of stuff? I'm gonna be really curious to see how that goes in the future. Bob's back. Welcome back, Bob. Do I have a filter on? It's by acquisition date. That's actually not a bad way to filter, because all of my newer units are going to be the ones that are not skilled as much. Yeah, if I'm going to use her. I'm luring this sucker. I think it's just the star gather rate and the crit strength. Double check this. Sorry, you can't just search for Johanna, you have to search for Popes. Because they never put Johanna in as a like nickname for her on the wiki, which is just stupid. It is my stars per turn. Give her that. But I won't give her that. I can finally upgrade this. That's another one that's kind of just been sitting there. How many coins do you have for Barcast? That's a good question. I actually don't know. $465 with all the pins. So I could like 120 Barcast if I wanted to. She was another one I think I got just a ton of copies of rolling for other units. Hide the whiskey. Is Bob drunk again? Actually, what is Barghest's third? Anti-alter ego? I guess I'll level it up at least to like level 4. Will the QP cap be raised in a name? No idea. Like, again, assume not for a long time unless JP graces us with their benevolence and decides to give it to us early. To be fair, I'm just being willfully wasteful with my QP at this current point in time. Egg Hell sure is fun. Yeah. Yeah, I would not expect anything like very quickly here. I think they took a brief moment to like run over to NA and give us new quality of life because they didn't really for anniversary. And I think that was because again they were like neck deep in the bowels of preparing for the finale. Where was I? It was somebody that I was working on. And now I just don't remember which. The ironic part is I actually have enough coins for Salter on an A, but JP I don't. That's just so deeply upsetting. What was the holdup here? That's a spicy cost on those daggers. How long till JP is live? Like 9.5 hours. Assuming it is 8 a.m. Oh, was it the Trunk Sisters? Thank you. I just could not for the life of me remember who I was doing the append for. Those LB3 bells are finally getting a little bit lower. Hmm. Oh yeah, the Final Fantasy 14 music. Bradamante could probably use that lore. At least I'm able to like get this QP down. You know what? Fuck it. Give it all to me. We're gonna get rid of as much of it as we can, chat. Both Salter and Double X on my main. Nice. Double X was the harder one on my main. She was really easy for me on JP because I got a bunch of extra copies for her rolling for Gil. But on NA, I only rolled like the bare amount that I needed. On one hand, I'm kind of glad that unlocking appends does not take QP. On the other hand, I'm kind of disappointed by it since I need to use QP. Do I know which GSSR I'm picking? No. I mean, if you guys want, I can go over it real fast with you guys. Just to help myself make a decision. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to roll for a couple of days, unfortunately. What happens if you hit QP limit? Yeah, it gets wasted. So you don't want to hit the limit. That's why I'm preemptively spending down. Okay, so this is a safe floor. I can't wait till he gets this on an A. The charge skill, by the way, chat. Sorry, I realized I did not say what I was talking about. There's a couple others there that I could lure, but I probably don't want to. Okay, that's going to start adding up really quick, so I do need to be selective at first about this. We got coins on our first pass, didn't we? Twenty minutes left for Lotto. Do your thing, chicken wang. Where's Sieg? There we go. I gotta try to lure this on Sieg if I can. It's another good one. It's gonna depend on what it takes, though. Really don't like losing that fruit if I don't have to. Disobey. May as well unlock. It's just extra benefit that if I don't unlock it, I won't have. So with that, I did grab Mixa coins. Damn, the third of pin's good on this one. It means I can't do the extra attack finesse, which just sucks. Not soon, I think, for the follow. Cad could have started 120ing Mixa. I still can. I'm choosing to retain the ability to 120 her over having extra damage on her extra attack. If that makes any sense. Please don't be eggs. Fruit, damn it. Ah! Why is it all the worst maths? Got what you asked for? I definitely did. Some lightning are hitting dangerously close to my room. That's a little worrisome. Yeah, stay safe, man. Find you some rubber. Oh, damn, the CQ. As long as you can get in it, you're probably fine. My advice would be go into it with, like, Immortal Comp if you can. Like, I did Castoria, Proto Merlin, and, like, Ibuki, and I just shredded it. But as long as you can get into the node before the event ends, you're fine. If you can't, well, shit. I will do one more run of the lotto here. Because why not, chat? I think almost at 200 bucks is best I've ever done. I'm so glad. Congrats. Always love to hear you guys pushing your boundaries. Bond 14 Arturio, which were the last coins I needed for 120. Ooh, nice. Very nice, Astra. What's the best place to farm gears? If you click on that link, that'll show you the best place to farm every single material in the game. 100 FP spin so good. Yep. I told you guys that's why I was waiting. I just did not care about rolling out FP in any of the events this year until we got that. Because I have so much FP I have to roll out. And I'm just like, nope, sorry, it's a non-starter. I'm not doing it. Wouldn't be surprised if it's still London. I don't think it is. I think it's Shinjuku, but still 180,000. Ah! Means I still have 300 boxes to roll out, chat. Okay, so chat wanted to know what GSSR I'm gonna go with. But I did not hit. Okay, thank you for all the random ass pop ups. Okay, chat. NP5, 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 NP5. Doubt it's gonna be that one. NP2, NP5, NP2, 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 NP2. NP1, I think? Maybe 2. NP1, NP5, NP5. NP2, NP1, NP3, NP2, NP5. So close, chat. Actually, your Zergtory is NP6. Can it? Okay. NP1 only off of a GSSR. NP5, NP2, NP5. And that one's also a 6, technically. Not by choice, though. NP2, NP1, NP5, NP1, NP3, I think, on Mama. NP1, NP3, NP5, NP3. Is chat beginning to notice a problem that I have? This is NP3. I do not have him. This is NP5. This is NP2. This is also NP2. I do not have Ptolemy. How strong is my... Tez? I think it's just NP2, but let me double check. He is NP2. And NP1. This one's actually safe. Surprising. NP5, NP2 or 3, I don't remember. The same thing here. I just looked at the bro. I don't remember if my bro is NP5 on an A or just like NP2. He is also MP2. Amakusa. Do I have Amakusa on today? I don't remember if I do or not. I think if I do, it's not by choice. I do have Amakusa. All I can say is either way, I don't want more of him. Yeah, it's in P1. I think I literally just got him off of GSSR. So far, chat, this is the only one that doesn't have an NP5. Don't have a Stalfo Saber. NP5, NP5, NP2. Burrito, I'm pretty sure is like NP2 or 3. Huion, same deal. Same deal. Ooh. What is my summer skadoodle? Fuck. NP5. I was thinking of my JP one where I didn't roll for her that hard. NP5. I'm gonna be real, I ain't rolling that otherwise. It doesn't matter. Just the fact that Kestori is there. NP5. That's definitely NP5. I know that's NP1. I don't remember my Da Vinci writer on an A. I think it's NP2, but I may have gone plus ultra at a point. Yeah, NP2. And I don't have Ilya. I don't remember my Nobu Venger. Three. She's actually gotten better. I think that's 1. And I think that's 3. And I think my Semiramis is like 1 as well. That's 5. That's 5. That's 5. That's 2. That's 5. That's 1. That's 1. That's 1. 3, 2. I don't remember if he's 2 or 1. One. I think I was originally gonna roll King Hassan in P5, and then I didn't because of the whole debacle with NA shifting him, and I still have never done it since. Oh, this one's interesting. Because my Oberon is in P2, I believe. Yeah. So that's 2. That's 2. And I don't have these 2. That's... So, interestingly enough, these 2 are the only ones that still don't have an NP5. That's in P5. I do not have either of those 2, and that's like in P2. In P5, in P5. Let's be honest, we're not doing that one. In P5, not doing that one. In P5, I think in P2, in P3, and in P2. Ooh. No. Damn it! I know it is. I'm going to look right now. Yep. Fuck. I'm pretty sure that's like in P2. I think my Abby's in P2, and I think my Super Bunyan's in P2. Huh. Technically safe. Don't have Moriarty ruler. Ooh, what is my Sigurd on in A? Chad hasn't seen my Sigurd in a hot second. I will definitely admit that Sigurd has not held up nearly as well. So my Sigurd is in P2. This one's also safe. That is interesting. So basically, they're all at the bottom here, but it's this banner, this banner, this banner, and this banner. These are the 4 options if I don't want to risk a USO. So it's an interesting conundrum because I don't exactly desire most of this. Go for Kire. Yeah, like basically to reiterate, NP2, NP1, NP2, 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 and NP2. That's what you're looking at there. I think the possibility of getting more copies of Tez is not a bad thing. I don't particularly care for another copy of Kire. I feel like that's kind of a dud in my eyes. I don't have what's his face over there. I don't really want more of Sigurd though, so again, also kind of a dud to me. I definitely don't want a Stelfo Saber. I don't like picking up one Gina wouldn't be bad. But this is certainly an interesting one. Hmm. And the possibility of getting Roma or Takeda is definitely interesting as well. That didn't roll for Corinus? No, I did not. I've always had Lartoria, so I've always had really, really strong options, and it was just it's not that I dislike the character, I just knew I did not need the character. And that's kind of why I said, like, okay, it is what it is, but we don't need to be going crazy with it. But yeah, I'll have to make a decision, but it's nice to know what my options are. I think, honest to God, I am probably leaning one of these three. It's not gonna be this. And I think amongst these, there's pros and cons to each. The pro here is Tez copy. The con is Cure copy. The pro here is again, like getting a copy of a unit I don't have. The con is Sigurd. Because Ptolemy is in both of these, and Ptolemy is definitely somebody that I wouldn't mind grabbing a copy of. But then there's also this and Takeda and Roma down here, so it is what it is. I don't know. It's a tough one. Anyways, chat, we're gonna end stream here. We're gonna go raid Mr. CZ. He's on doing some FG. Oh no, sorry, not CZ. CZ is on, but we are gonna be going and raiding Mr. Gotcha Gurus, who's on doing some FGO. That's my bad there. But chat, again, I'm not going to see you guys until next Monday. I hope you guys had a wonderful time. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to watch me do the end of the story. I, again, just want to thank you guys for supporting me all these years and for, being with me on this journey. I hope to celebrate the New Year's, next Monday with you guys doing rolls and talking about what I hope will be news on JP. Again, the live stream is tomorrow at 8 a.m. Go check out Mr. Two Love Trouble if you guys haven't already. Good buddy of mine. You'll be translating all of it. Should be very interesting stuff. But if I don't get to see you over the next couple days in Discord or various other places, have a happy new year. Try to bring in the new year with your head held high and strive for whatever goals you guys are trying to achieve in the next year. And again, good luck to all of you guys that are going to roll. Hope for some good news. Give Gotcha Gurus my love. I'll see you guys Monday.